Hi, Mr. Loader here. Wanted to share with you the lesson for Tuesday, the 26th of January 2021. The role is to infer what is happening in a poem. Now, we've talked about inferring before. Inferring is when you either look at something or read something and try and understand what it is trying to tell us, basically, and looking for clues. So if I move on to the next slide, this is the first thing I'd like you to do. I'd like you to watch the video of Joseph Coelho discussing poetry. Okay, it's from the BBC. This is what you should find. English Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2, how to understand a poem. Okay, so that's important you do that before we carry on. So if you want to pause the video now. Okay, now this is one of the poems that he discusses. Give and Take. Okay, it's a poem from All the Best by Roger McGough. I'll read it to you. I give you clean air, you give me poisonous air. I give you mountains, you give me quarries. I give you pure snow, you give me acid rain. I give you spring fountains, you give me toxic canals. I give you a butterfly, you gave me a plastic bottle. I give you a blackbird, you gave me a stealth bomber. I give you abundance, you give me a waste. I give you one last chance, you give me excuse after excuse. Now, it's a very powerful poem, okay? Now, I'm going to read it again for a second time. What I want you to do is think about what the poem is about and how do you know. You might want to underline words or phrases in the text that help you. Okay, I will help you with this. Okay, it's quite a tough poem to think about. So I give you clean air, you give me poisonous gas. I give you mountains, you give me quarries. I give you pure snow, you give me acid rain. I give you spring fountains, you give me toxic canals. I give you a butterfly, you gave me a plastic bottle. I give you a blackbird, you gave me a stealth bomber. I give you abundance, you give me waste. I give you one last chance, you give me excuse after excuse. It's such a powerful poem. Okay. Now, the phrase give and take is often referred to when you talk about relationships. Okay, and it's about having a bit of a give and take. That means that you give things and take things back, but obviously when you're taking things, you're expected to give things back, and it's not just a one-way thing. Okay, so there's obviously a bit of tension in this relationship. So the first question is, what do you think the poem is about? So you might want to share that with an adult. Okay, I'll talk to you about it afterwards. Okay, or talk to a partner, a friend. Okay, and then how do you know? How do you know it's about that? Okay, this is what the inferring bit is, isn't it? Okay, now we're going to read the poem for a third time. Okay, and then we want to dig deeper, like Joe explains in the video. Okay, who do you think I is? And why do you think that? Okay, so let's read it once more. I give you clean air, you give me poisonous gas. I give you mountains, you give me quarries. I give you pure snow, you give me acid rain. I give you spring fountains, you give me toxic canals. I give you a butterfly, you gave me a plastic bottle. I give you a blackbird, you gave me a stealth bomber. I give you abundance, you give me waste. I give you one last chance, you give me excuse after excuse. Okay, so this is what I want you to answer. Talk to a partner or an adult. Who do you think I is in the poem? And why do you think that? And then think about this. Who or what gives us clean air, mountains, pure snow, spring fountains? And then who is the you that the I is speaking to? Okay. And then why do you think the poem is given, the poet has given the poem the title Give and Take? Okay. And what messages do you think the poet might be communicating through this poem, and why might he be doing this? Okay, now I'm going to start talking about these things. Again, you might want to talk to an adult about this first, or a partner. Okay, so this is my interpretation of it. Now, when we look at poems, it's a bit like when you look at artwork. Some people might think different things. So that I, in my opinion, is either a god, if we're thinking about a religion. Okay, so depending on what religion you believe in, it might be a certain god. Okay, and we've recently looked at creation stories, haven't we? So it might be a religion's god, but it also might be Mother Nature. Okay, all of these natural things. So clean air, mountains, pure snow, spring fountains, butterflies, blackbirds. Okay, and then the you is humans. Okay, it's us. Okay, and if you think about it, Mother Nature is giving us all these fantastic things, but we're giving damaging things back in return. Okay, so this relationship is quite one way, isn't it? We're not thinking about the nature, we're only thinking about ourselves. So that's the message that the poet is trying to put across. That is a one-way relationship. Okay, and why is he doing this? He's trying to make us aware of the damage that we're doing. Really, that's my interpretation of it. Okay, right. This is a bit of fun. What is the poem about? So I've taken out the word so it doesn't tell you. Aren't you cold and won't you freeze? With branches bare, you something. You've thrown away your summer shift. Your autumn gold has come adrift. Deary me, you something. What strange behaviour, if you please. In summer you could wear much less, but come the winter, you undress. So it's something that in the winter it doesn't have much on it, but in the summer it does. Okay, and that's obviously strange behaviour. In the autumn it's got a golden colour, quite often. Okay, but in the winter it's got branches that are bare. Okay, so talk to an adult. What do you think it might be, or a partner? Okay, and then I'm going to tell you. Of course, it is winter trees. Okay, because they get all bare. They lose all their leaves in the winter, don't they? And that links in nicely with plants when we've been thinking about how plants need sunlight. So this is what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to look at the poem Power Hungry, and the file will be attached. And then I want you to answer the questions about it if you write them down. What is the poem about? So obviously read it first. And then how do you know this? So it's similar to what we've just been doing. If you finish, you could look at Catch Me If You Can and Sitting Pretty. Okay, so they're two different poems, but you've got to guess what they are and then explain how do you know that. Okay, there is an easier poem to look at if needed. And then a fly high challenge. This is what I'd like you to do. Think about an object, but don't tell anyone. Write down some sentences to describe it. Don't include the name of the object in the sentences. There is an example that I've made up on the next page. So here it is. See if you can guess what it is. I often have a handle. I sometimes get very hot. People fill me to the top. I get picked up. I might be held whilst watching TV. I am often kept in the kitchen. I am given a clean, after being used. What am I? So I'll read it once more. I often have a handle. I sometimes get very hot. People fill me to the top. I get picked up. I might be held whilst watching TV. I am often kept in the kitchen. I am given a clean after being used. What am I? So talk to someone. Okay, see if you can guess with them what it might be. Okay, I'm now going to tell you what it is. It is a cup. Okay, because cups have handles, don't they? They can sometimes get very hot when they're filled with things like tea and coffee. Okay, people fill them up to the top. We pick them up, don't we? Okay, we pick them up. Sometimes we hold them whilst we're watching TV as a comfort thing. We keep them often in the kitchen, don't we, as a way of storing them. And then after we've drunk out them, we give them a clean, don't we? Especially these ones. Okay, and then if you manage to do that, share it with someone, and then see if you can guess. The person can guess what it is. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.